How's it going, folks? It's Rob here. I was planning on bringing you a clip on how I built the small little chop and flip aquaponic system behind me here, but things just haven't worked out that way this week, so I thought I'd give you a quick look at the aquaponics and just a few other bits and pieces around the backyard. Unfortunately, I did my back on Tuesday. I've just got a reoccurring nerve injury in my lower back. It happened years ago when I hopped off a forklift, and every now and then I just pick something up the wrong way and it goes, and yeah, I'm pretty much well immobile for a couple of days. So yeah, I just couldn't finish off the clip. Sorry about that, folks. So what I thought I'd do, yeah, we'll just have a bit of a wander around the backyard. I'll give you a bit of a teaser on the system, and then yeah, show you the aquaponics as well and a few other bits and pieces we have on the go. So here we go. So this is the little chop and flip aquaponic system I was hoping to post a clip on today. I've already posted a clip on how bell siphons work, and that one was built. But yeah, unfortunately my back was just a little bit too sore to be, you know, out here and jumping up and down and filming and that sort of thing. Over here we have the bananas. Give you a bit of a look at them. These guys here really do need to go into larger pouches. I'm actually using a 113 litre pouch, just wrapped around them with some baling twine to hold them up at the moment, because these smaller pouches they're in, they're just not keeping them up when the wind blows. So what I want to do is take them out and put them in some of these larger pouches, and then those suckers down the bottom, they'll go into smaller pouches and we'll grow them up. So the idea is to at least grow one of these guys in a pouch until we get some fruit, just to see if we can do it. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes. I was planning on tackling that this weekend, but yeah, it's not going to happen. Also too, wanted to pop these guys into some pouches, but those pineapples can wait as well. Just around here in the aquaponics, I got some foam. I'll just set this camera up. I got this foam from a mate, thank you very much, Darren. It was to go into this floating raft bed, which is basically just a large 600 litre trough. Unfortunately though, someone pointed out to me that they use a fire retardant in Australia that's pretty much all being phased out in the rest of the world that can be toxic over time. So what I've decided to do, even though there's very little risk of it being a problem in this system here if I paint it and seal the boards, I've decided we're going to use this in the renovations. We'll use it as insulation in the walls or in the floor or something, somewhere where the chemicals won't leach. The concern I have is being in water all the time. Some of the flame retardant, the name of it's just up there if you want to research for yourself, can leach out and can basically accumulate in the aquaponic system. I just don't want to expose my kids to a chemical that could pose problems to them down the line. I'd rather err on the side of caution. What I'm planning on doing is getting a sheet of the HDPE2 plastic, which is what pretty much the rest of the aquaponic system's made out of. I'm making some rafts out of that, and yeah, I'll muck around with that because I do want to have a go at raft beds. So just quickly, that flame retardant has been removed from this foam in other places around the world, so definitely an issue here in Australia, but I would still look into it if you're in the States or Europe and other places, just to make sure that there's no old stock with any of that chemical in it. I don't want to be a fearmonger, it's just a concern we have here in Australia. On to some seedlings. These seedlings were started off last weekend, but unfortunately due to my back the tray did dry out. The girls watered other plants around the place, but they forgot to top up these guys. And as a result, we've only had, whoa, the camera's going. Just fix the camera up. The pak choi are the only ones that germinated in there. The rest of the soil I think dried out too much and those seeds pretty much all perished. So I might cut a few corners and go and buy some seedlings just to replace a couple in there that we want started now, like the cauliflower and some cabbage and whatnot. But the rest, yeah, we'll give them another week and see what comes through. The fish, we'll go over and have a bit of a look at the fish. Jade perch is still going well and as hungry as ever. Throw a couple of pellets in. So, whoa, that spooked them a bit. They're feeding really well. The water temperature's been in the mid-20s, so they're pretty much well still on their feed. I would throw some feed in for the silver perch, but you just won't see them. So I'm pretty happy with the way the jades are going. We've started to harvest a few over the last month or so, and we've got a couple more that'll probably come out this week. The idea is to depopulate this tank so we can split the silvers between the two. So as for the beds, they're all just a massive green at the moment. This Thai basil really does love the aquaponics. The ginger seems to be flogging it along at the moment, and there's another Thai ginger over the front there, sorry, Thai basil. And we've got a couple of beetroots and celery down in there somewhere, all being shaded out. I'll just give you a look at this ginger. So this ginger's just going great guns at the moment. There's actually two plants over on this side here. You can see that big knob just over in the back there. It's growing above the media. I've never had it do that before. Down here we have a third plant that didn't do too well, didn't take off to begin with, but now we're getting a fair bit of rhizome on it, so really blown away with how well this ginger's gone this year. This is grown from rhizome we saved from last season's crop, so I don't know whether it's just acclimatizing itself better to our position here, because the year before it was a complete dud. So really looking forward to pulling some of this out. It smells absolutely fantastic under here at the moment. Just by rubbing up against the leaves it releases some of the ginger smell. So we'll pop around to one of the other beds. So in this first bed we have kangkong. It's going great guns at the moment. We're actually pulling some of that out for a chicken stir fry tonight. The other plant in this bed that's really taken off is the mushroom herb. It's pretty much well taken over. We basically haven't been eating a lot of it. We pull off a few leaves here and there to go into salads, so I think we might have to pull some out and feed it to the compost pile, or anyone else if you want to come around and grab a couple of handfuls. Over the top there we have some perennial spinach. It's actually a chard or a silver beet like plant. That's been used a fair bit. We pop that in with the warrigal greens and different spinach type dishes. Down here a poor little rosemary. It's still hanging on. It's sort of reaching for sunlight. It needs to be taken out and put into a root pouch, I think, and put somewhere else in the patch. We'll just fight through this jungle to the other grow bed. From this bed over the top of the sump tank, we're pretty much all just harvesting the Okinawan greens at the moment, and a couple of the small green jalapenos when they come off, trying to beat the fruit fly. We did pop out a couple of sections of lemongrass and had them in a meal, and popped off an eggplant or two, but that's pretty much all it from that bed. We'll just make our way around to the bed at the back. This back bed's a bit of a jungle. We've got a massive Egyptian spinach here. It's got a load of seed pods on it that are nearly ready, so we can take them off and save a bit of seeds. The longevity spinach has just gone burko still. We've taken out some and we've added it to compost. Other bits and pieces I've just chopped up and thrown into stir fries and the like, but the girls can pick it out and they really don't like it, so hopefully it should come out very soon. I've got a couple of Okinawa spinach cuttings rooting up in the house, so I'll pop them in its place. Hopefully this week I'll get around to it. There's a whole list of jobbies I need to get to. Around the back here we have some basil. We bought this as sweet basil, but it's not. It's got a slight aniseedy flavour to it. Over the back we do have some sweet basil. We've been taking leaves from this one as well as a few others in the patch just to throw into salads. Around the side of this bed we have our turmeric. It's doing really well. The only problem is it's shading out a lot of the plants behind it. This taro here doesn't look too happy at the moment, so pretty much well decided this will be the first taro we harvest this week, and then we'll just turn off the water to these two barrels and we'll decommission them and we'll put something else here in its place. I think this area was just too shaded during summer because of the turmeric, and then when these leaves were just, you know, going gangbusters, this barrel up the end here pretty much wasn't getting any light, so we might rethink the layout for next year for sure. So all in all, I pretty much will just let this thing run itself, and we've just been grabbing salads as we need it. Probably does need a little bit more attention like the rest of the patch, but you get that. So this is the native bees, or the Tetragonula hawkingsi. These guys here, we know the colony must be fairly happy because they seem pretty active. Hopefully this position will be nice enough for them so they can stay active through winter. As you can see, there's a fair bit of sun hitting it at the moment. That's why we chose this position, keep the hive nice and warm. Down the back here we have the sweet potato root pouch garden. It's doing rather well. This one here has two orange and a purple Hawaiian. The purple Hawaiian, it turns out to be more of a clumping plant. As you can see, only the orange has decided to climb up the trellis, and it's just breached the top of the trellis this week, and it'll probably make it up into the mango by this time next weekend. So hopefully we're going to get a half decent root harvest out of these guys. The purple Hawaiians being more of a clumping plant, I'm not too sure how they'll go, because as you can see there's a bit of shade here at this point in time in the afternoon. Just down here we've got the luffa, the cylindrical luffa. It's doing alright. It's already grown up into the mango tree, and you might be able to make out we've got a fruit there, so he should come off. Maybe he can go into the stir fry tonight. And we've got a bunch of other little fruit just forming over here, just male flowers. Hopefully they'll be pollinated and start to put on a bit of size. Last week while I was down here I caught a blue-banded bee servicing some of the female flowers. It actually let me take quite a few shots of it before it nipped off and pollinated some flowers elsewhere. Definitely one of my favourite bees, and I love seeing him around the patch. This little root pouch garden's going so-so. The peas, the poor peas over the back there, they really copped a caning when we had a couple of hot days. The leaves just did not look happy at all and started folding in on themselves, but they've finally reached the trellis and starting to take off, so I'm pretty happy with that. The carrots got smashed by grasshoppers. There's actually carrots sown out in the front of the pea pouches as well, but the grasshoppers just came over and smashed them. There's one carrot you can see left in the bottom of that pouch, so yeah, I'm not holding out much hope for the carrots down there. The strawberries are going gangbusters. I put a couple of runners into small 3.8 litre root pouches and they've just taken off, so pretty happy with that. I was down here this morning checking out these strawberries and I noticed there's a couple of flowers down in there, so we might get a couple of fruit off those plants. But yeah, I definitely do need to try and contain these runners and pop them into some more root pouches. So I just wanted to let you Aussies know that I'm actually stocking these root pouches and selling them at the moment. You can click on that little thumbnail up there and it'll take you to our little shop. I don't like, you know, spruiking on the videos and all that and getting up in your face, but I just had a couple of people message me through the week and thank me for putting them onto them. They went and bought them through the States, so yeah, if you buy from me, a little bit cheaper on the freight and a little bit cheaper with the Aussie dollar and all that, so yeah, hit me up and I'll see if I can help you out. These potatoes, not much chop. One actually wilted off in the pouch and I removed it. I've taken off a branch from this one here because it was just absolutely covered with mites, the end of the leaves, and it looks like the way these leaves are turning that we might have some more mites under there. So I'm thinking rather than have mites spread through my patch, I might just pull these potatoes out. I've had a couple of issues with other plants with mites and I'm finding them hard to control, so rather than leave them in and let them potentially spread through the patch, I'd rather just take them out, I think, and plant something else in there. Just in the next little root pouch tray garden, I've got another Thai basil and also two my perennial tree collards. They've been absolutely smashed by these little army caterpillars. They're laid by a moth, I think. They're probably about 20 or 30 at a time, and they just pretty much will destroy the leaves. The grasshoppers have had their fair share as well, so this plant here will be going into the hoop house at some point to give it some better protection, and I'll also be spraying it with some dipel, which is a BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. It's a bacterial insecticide that gets into the gut of the caterpillar and kills it. So yeah, that's something I definitely need to spray on there because I don't want to lose that plant. Just down in that little pouch at the front there, I have an Okinawan spinach. Actually rescued him from the compost heap. He rooted in there. And over here we have a longevity spinach that I think I'll find a new home for. Pretty much, well, yeah, if I'm pulling it out of the aquaponics, we're not too happy with it, so we might pass it on to someone else who'll enjoy it. Just before we go, I just thought I'd show you the kangkong in the pond is also doing really well. So we have been taking off bits and pieces from the pond kangkong just because it's in the walkway, more so than the aquaponic. The water chestnuts could probably come out very soon, and I've noticed the duck potatoes have died right back, so yeah, I'd probably need to pull that pouch out once I can reach over and lift it out. So just out the front of the lime tree bed, we've got a couple of nice pumpkins. That's a decent size one, and there's another smaller one just over there. We'll just walk through this jungle and I'll show you the large one. So just under the yakon here, we have a rather nice sized pumpkin. I'd say he's well and truly over the 4 kilo mark. There's probably 2 or 3 more like this, just around the side of these barrels over there. We'll go and have a gander. So just down here is another pumpkin. This one here is pretty much well the same size, if not slightly larger than the last one I just showed you. Just to let you know as well, I'll be picking them when the stem just starts to brown off a little bit. That's pretty much well when these Kent pumpkins are ready to pick. There is another one that is just down there through the grass. Whoops, down in there, might be a bit hard for you to see. And there's another one around about this size, if I can find my finger, just on the other side of the shade cloth down in there. So pretty happy with the amount that we've got off this vine. Seeing as it was a volunteer and we lost so many to the fruit fly to begin with. And just out here in the middle of the lawn we have another one. So he's a lot smaller than the rest. I don't know whether that's because they're further from the root of the plant or what the go is, but yeah, I'd say we've probably got about half a dozen or so on. The little mulberry tree's going all right. He's still just in that small little root pouch and putting on some nice growth. The pepino from Nathan, thanks mate, it's still going really well. It pretty much all got over its case of the mites with flying colours for some reason, where the rest of the plants didn't. Poor lemongrass needs a bit of a thinning, I think. Might be a good idea to start out a few more patches, I think, with all that on the go. just to save me walking out the front, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a slideshow update. The broccoli's doing rather well. It's out from underneath the shade cover that you would have seen a couple of clips ago. It's been attacked by grasshoppers, but that's it so far. No sign of cabbage, butterfly. Knock on wood. The cauliflower, I planted them out far too early. They weren't even, you know, an inch tall, 2.5 centimetres tall, so they all keeled over. One hang on for a couple of weeks, but I've got some advanced seedlings that are going to go out there. Hopefully the girls might take pity on me and plant them out this weekend. What else? The bananas were harvested. We got a lovely big bunch of bananas from the plant out the front. I ate probably 2 or 3 hands. Fresh. Gave a couple away to Mark, hope you enjoyed them, mate, and we threw some in the freezer after Maya made up a load of muffins, and she made a beautiful walnut and banana cake, and I made up a batch of chocolate chip muffins, so we've got probably enough for 2 more batches in the freezer. The roselle is also finally flowered for us. There's a load of flowers on there at the moment and a whole heap of buds on their way, so hopefully we'll get enough to make a couple of jars of jam. If not, Mum said she's got some she's saved from last year in the freezer she found, so she can add to the cause and we can make some up. But I think that's pretty much all it. Just a reminder for any of you Aussies who are after those root pouches, just click that little link up there and that'll take you to our website with all the ordering information. Hopefully I can help you folks out. Also too, you chaps who are after the aquaponics build clip, hopefully I'll have it up and done by Wednesday. I'll be working on it as soon as I finish this clip. I just have to do a bit more filming and I couldn't do it with my back this week, so yeah, sorry folks, please be patient. If you want to be notified about that clip or any of the other clips that I post to YouTube, to our channel here, you can click on that little subscribe button up there and check a little box, and you'll be sent an email whenever we post a clip to YouTube, and you can come along and see what's going on in our small little backyard farm. So I hope everyone is well and happy and that you've enjoyed the update. I will catch you next weekend, if not before, for another clip. Cheers folks, take it easy.